Hello, friends. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me today. My name is Carrie Gilletto, and I'm here with Whimsy Stamps. And today we're going to share some ideas about how to use up some of these little pieces of scraps that we all end up with so many of them, right? So every time we cut an A2 size frame from a piece of paper, there's a little section of the 6x6 paper that's about this big. And I don't know about you, but pretty much every single piece of paper that Whimsy Stamps has, I have a little section like this for. So I don't like to throw these away because I love this paper, but you have to come up with some ideas on how to use them, right? So today that's what we're going to do. And all of these are pretty simple cards. They come together really fast, but it uses up some of those little bits of paper that we have floating around. So this is the perfect stamp set to do this with because you've got three really cute little images, which I've gone ahead and I've colored them up using Copic markers. And I went ahead and I just cut those by hand. Now, what I like about it is excuse me, I got a frog in my throat. What I like about it is that each little image has its own little saying, a little sentiment that goes with it. So it's kind of just a no-brainer, but that makes it a very good set to use for this project. I'm also going to be using the hexagon stitched nested dies, and really any repeating shape will work. So you could use circles, you could use squares, but I think the hexagons are kind of fun. So the way I like to start is to sort my paper kind of into color families. And by doing that, you get some, let's see here. We'll just sort them kind of into piles here. This can go with the blues. This one has some pink in it, so that might work. Don't know if I'll be able to use that one today, but I might use that too. So here you see I have some pinks and some blues. So when you color your image, once you kind of sort out your pieces, you can color your image so that they go with your paper. And I have some more over here that were purple, so that's why I colored this bear purple. So that's kind of how I start, is by sorting out all of my scraps and putting them in a color family and then coloring my images to match. All right, so once we do that, we're going to make 3 cards, and we're going to start with probably my favorite and work our way to the most simple. Hello. Hi, Shauna. How are you? It's great to see you. So this first one is a card that has been around forever, and it's a sunburst card, but you may not have the measurements to know how to do this. So I thought, even though it's an oldie but a goodie, I would go ahead and share it. And I have made a measurements here for you so that you can take a picture of that or keep it if you want to know how to do this. So you need one piece that measures 1.5 by 4.5, one piece that measures 1.5 by 4, 2 pieces that measure 1.5 by 3, and then 2 pieces that measure 1.5 by 2. All right, so I'll leave this kind of up over in here. So, well, let's put it where you can see it. There you go. That way, if you still need those measurements, you can get it. And then I've gone ahead and I've made 2 circles, and I stamped my sentiment on the upper part of one of them. Then you just need a card base 4.25 by 5.5. And today I'm going to be using all white card bases. We're just going to keep it simple. But to do this sunburst card, you need to have a paper trimmer. And you're going to line up the opposite corners on your paper trimmer. And we're just going to cut ourselves some triangles, just like that. So on all of our pieces, we're going to do that same thing. You're just going to line up the triangles so that you end up with pieces like this. And like I said, this card design has been around for ages. But it's one of those that is a perfect card for using up little scraps, especially the size that is left by a 6x6 piece of paper. So there we go. And our last one is this little hearts. Now you may recognize lots of these little strips from several different paper pads. And I believe most of them are still available. There might be one that I have that I'm not sure if it's still available. All right, so hopefully you have these measurements now. All of them measured 1.5, and then your decreasing sizes. So now we're just going to pretty much arrange our pieces towards a point in the middle. Let's see here. And we may have to change them around a bit. Let's see. Now I know that my piece that I'm going to put in the center is a little bigger, so if I need to pull them out, I can. And we're just going to, and you want to try to keep the spacing between, you know, about the same size. Now I may have to move some of these around. I want to try to placed around here. Let's see. That one, is it going to go out enough? Yeah. Okay. And let's put this one right here. All right, now I'm just going to move them around a bit. My spacing right. Whoops, that one's not in a good spot. And then this one's going to go right here. So once we kind of get them arranged, let's go ahead and start gluing them down. But you can see how this is a great way to use up lots of different colors of scraps. And again, the trick is trying to keep your spacing as you glue down. But this one's one of my favorites for using scraps. Oops. Pull that one out a little bit. You want to make sure your corners come all the way out to the edge on those shorter ones. Whoops. All right, we are almost all the way around. Whoops, that one's a little too far out. There we go. And our last one. Threw me for a loop because this is the opposite side. And I was like, whoa, did I glue that down wrong? But no, I got it right. All right, so now that we have all of our pieces glued on, we're going to go ahead and turn that over. We'll have a few more scraps here, but these kind of small scraps I don't mind so much throwing away. So we're just going to trim all those off. One thing that can be fun for a design like this is to go ahead and trim a 1/4 inch off of the top and bottom and mat it on some colored cardstock, and that's a fun way to you know, get even more interest. But I decided I wanted more of my pattern paper to show. And I'll show you why here in just a second. All right. All right, so you can see here, I have a couple different, we can put our orange one in, and then our Hope You're Back on Your Feet Soon. And I'm going to glue this one on top. So do let me know there. Is this the sunburst? Is that something that you've done recently? Is it one, or did you need the measurements? I actually had forgotten the measurements for this. I had to like dig into my stash and find what the measurements for this card. I knew I had made them before in the past, but I was like, what are the measurements of that? So sometimes those good ideas from the past, we have to like pull them out and give them some use. There we go. And then I loved my little turtle. Look at that. I think that turned out so cute. And what I love most is that it used up some of these scraps that I just hate to throw away. So let's go ahead and put this down. And this guy, I'm just going to go ahead and glue him on. Let's see here. I might tilting just a bit. All right, there we go. There's our first one. All right, for the next one, I chose to use all the blues, and this is going to be another A2 size. And for this one, I stamped the Get Well Soon onto another white card, and I'm just going to go ahead and trim that down. Let's see, not like that. I'm going to trim just a little bit off the top too. The wider you have your sentiment strip, the more, the less you're going to see of your patterns that you're putting on. So, all right, now for this one, I just cut, I had smaller, my scraps were smaller pieces, so I have cut them into hexagons, and I'm just going to arrange my hexagons, you know, down one side of my paper here. And I want to have all my patterns kind of represented. Maybe this one right here, and this one right here, and this one right here. All right. So now if you wanted to, if you had more scraps, you could go ahead and fill up the whole background like we did here. But I'm going to leave this side, whoops, white, and we'll go ahead and glue these down. So this idea works great with any kind of recurring pattern. So, you know, you could use circles, you could, any pattern that you have, or shape. And this is actually one, well, really that one too, that works with both a patterned paper, and it also would work with solids. Now, all of mine today are patterned papers, but these ideas would work with solid papers as well. Oops, I hope I didn't get that crooked. There we go. This is actually Easter paper that I used for an Easter card, but I'm using it with Sea Life because it's blue. Okay. Let's see here. Oops. All right, so same thing. Let's go ahead, turn that over, and cut off these bits. Yeah, every now and then I just have to set aside some time and make some cards out of my scraps, or I tell you what, I'd be buried in scraps. But look at that. Isn't that pretty? Just creating your own pattern. So simple. Now, I am going to place my sentiment about right here, maybe, and put my whale there, or maybe I want it more on that side, and we'll place the whale here. I think that's the way I'm going to go, because I think my little whale shows up better when he's not on the pattern. Okay. I think I'll put it about, let me move it down just a tad. There we go. And now I'm going to put some foam on the back of our whale. And then I'm going to put just a couple little pieces on here and on here. There we go. And I'm going to set his little tail. Whoops, did I get it too close? Yeah. I want his little tail to be right in there. All right, there we go. I got his tail a little too close to the soon, but there we go for these two. Now, I love how those turned out, and I love that I used my scraps. I'm going to be saying that over and over because these cards make me so happy. So this last one, I decided to make one in a slimline version. And for these, I just cut my strips into I think it's 3/4 inch. Let me double check. Let me measure these. So for these, I just cut my purples into strips, and they're 1 inch by 1 inch. Well, they're 3 1/4 long, but they're 1 inch wide. And I am going to just layer these up, going down on my paper here. And the one piece of paper that I'm not sure if it's still available is this one right here. I couldn't find that paper pad, so it may be the one piece. But I had a chunk of it in my box, so we're using it. All right, and then for my little bear, I'm gonna put him right down here, but I'm going to stamp my sentiment in this open section. And my sentiment, here, let's move the bear. I'm going to put right over here to one side. And we're going to go ahead and stamp that. Just right in there. All right, so we got a perfect impression. Look at that. All right, so for this, let's just go ahead and, you know what? All right, do you like it better going every other one, or do you like the two flowers kind of next to each other? And there, I kind of liked it mixed up a little bit, so I think I'm going to do it this way. You know, we could turn one of them over because this has a purple side. Could do something like that. What do you think? I don't know. I think I like the diamond side. I'm going to do it the way I had it laid out. Don't overthink it, Carrie. All right. These are simple cards. Don't make it hard. All right. Put that. Oh, this one's double-sided too with some purple on the other side. But I like these florals. I'm going to keep that. Yeah, that one, the green, we're definitely not using this one on that card. Whoops. I think I got that one on there crooked. Alright, and I'm just going to trim the end off the bottom here because I got it a little too short. There we go. No problems, just solutions, right? Alright, and now I want to place my little bear so that he's just kind of right here running to give somebody a hug. And we're going to pop him up. Put just a little piece under his hands. Or his paws, I guess. Alrighty. All right, there we go. Weren't those images so cute to use on these scrap cards? I really like how they all turned out. They're all fast and easy, but instead of throwing away those little bits of pretty paper that we all like so much, it puts them to good use and makes some really cute cards. So I hope this gives you some ideas of how you can use your patterned scraps. And I had so much fun making these. And like I said, you start out just group them by color and then color up your images to kind of match your patterned paper and stamp you some sentiments and you're good to go. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day and I look forward to crafting with you again next Thursday. Have a good one. Bye-bye.